Welcome to the Daily Telegraph NRL Podcast. I'm Michael Carayannis, and joining me is Brent Reid and Phil Buzz Rothfield for the Bradman Best Appreciation Show.
Wow.
Thoughts on last night, fellas?
Bradman had a great
You
game,
need to
didn't
get back on TV and open apology. I didn't open letter to Freddy today. You do
I
it.
read your open letter. I
Hey?
read your open letter. I assume you wrote that before the game.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh, why would I write it before the game? Are you kidding? You're saying he deserves to keep you on one game.
Hold on, we'll get to
A
that.
dead rubber.
Can I
Yeah,
just clarify?
Back to Bradman Best.
I never said Bradman Best shouldn't be there. And people have said that. They've taken me out of context.
Oh, have
I
they?
never said that. I merely asked why he was selected ahead of some other people. And Greg took great offence to that. Then last night, he made this snide comment.
Did he?
Some people
Well, you were
comment on the
wrong.
game,
You
don't
shouldn't
watch
have
the game. I
questioned it.
watch as much footy as Brandon.
You shouldn't have questioned him. It was there for all to see last night.
Mate,
You're in the
90%
wrong.
of people on social media agree with me.
You want to rip into my Freddy
They
letter?
want to
Well,
know why.
How about you take a little bit of responsibility
They wanted
yourself?
answers, Buzz.
You're one of
Anyway,
the. You're
move
one
on.
of. No, you go. I want to go back to the letter, and your inappropriate attack on my letter. I do.
We'll get to
So
that.
cheerleaders
Mick's,
like
Mick's
yeah,
in charge of this
I'm
show.
letting you guys go. I'm just
well,
sitting here.
no,
This has been
cheerleaders
outstanding
like
stuff.
you
Cheerleaders like me.
will get carried away in the emotion of last night, right? And so, oh, Freddie should stay. You judge it over.
Are you calling me a cheerleader?
Yes.
I'm one of the blokes who's apparently running an agenda against Freddie,
Oh,
so
yeah?
don't call me a cheerleader.
Well, Mark Levy's captain coach, and you're coming off the bench.
You're putting me in...
I'm in a bad mood today, Mick.
You
I'm
are.
sleep
I can
deprived
sense
again.
it. You've had a big week.
I want to know
Buzz.
why even you're hosting this podcast. Bring back mobs.
Wow.
What about the start? It's all the start, boys. I just said
Volatile, wasn't it?
I spoke for 30 seconds, just sat back and enjoyed. So, all right. So Bradman Best, good selection. Yes, Buzz.
Great selection. I always knew it was the right way to go.
Wow.
And the rest of their selections: Cody Walker, Keon Kalamatangi,
Outstanding, all of them.
Jacob Safidi.
Yep.
Not
Cody
only
was
that,
great.
Not only that, Cody, who's been dropped 3 times and
Yeah.
before they
Rested,
realised-
Buzz. Rested.
Rested.
Are you going to
okay.
question their selections
No,
now after
Liam
rapping
Martin
for Bradman Best?
finally got a start. Cameron Murray finally got a start. Regan Campbell-Gillard finally got a start. Josh Adokar, who was snubbed all of last year, scored one of the most spectacular individuals. Now, come on.
What are you saying now? Come
Well,
on. For?
I'm trying to justify my letter, which you've taken. Anyway,
So give us
where are we going, Mick? Where
Well,
are we going?
Let's go on the letter, Buzz. And it starts off. It's in today's paper and online now on the Telegraph website. And you start off by thanking Brad Fittler for his
And I'm
services.
very genuinely too.
On and off the field and what he's done as a player coach and for the community. And then you start critiquing, I guess, his reign as New South Wales coach. And the conclusion is, as harsh as it sounds and as difficult it is to write, it's time to step aside.
Yeah. I've said in the story that no one in New South Wales origin history since Freddy first wore a jersey 33 years ago has been a finer ambassador
Yep.
for rugby league in this state, and I genuinely believe that. But elite rugby league at this level is all about winning, and there have been too many mistakes made. And I think even Freddie's felt it this year, just the pressure, and I think it's time to step aside. And I listed all the halfbacks we've had: Pearce, Cleary, Walker, Maloney. I can keep going. But the important thing I pointed out was he came into great time when Smith had retired. Andrew McCulloch was the first hooker he was up against. Cooper Cronk was gone. Billy Slater was gone.
Yeah, it was definitely an end of an era for the Queensland greats.
And, you know, our guys would just come into their prime, the Turbos and the Latrells. And, look, he got off to... I just think we need to go in a new direction.
Reedy, what's your take on Brad Fittler's coaching
If
situation?
they move on from Brad, I completely understand it. I've been one of his biggest critics over the past 2 years probably. But I can also understand if they stay with him. But if they stay with him, as I've written today, they need to make sure that he has someone like Ivan Cleary working with him. I think we saw the difference Ivan made last night. Brad
Was
downplayed
Ivan there helping
Yeah.
or
Yes,
as
he was in the
as
coach's
observer?
box.
He was
No,
an
he was in the
observer.
No,
But do we
Brad
know-
said he spoke to him during the game.
Do we know what sort of role Ivan played in the lead up to the game?
Well, I don't know what sort of role he played in the lead-up, but on the night, I don't think the issue's been in the lead-up necessarily with New South Wales. It's been on a lot of the times on the night, his use of interchange,
Yeah.
tactics.
And this is what I wrote a couple of weeks ago, boys. if Joey's running our attack and we've got to change on the run in games and things like that, we can't get to him. He's on 9.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they have Brandy Alexander, for all great commentator, but he's not a coach.
No. This is the issue.
You're 100% right.
When they won,
he needs more help.
When he won early, Fitzy was his assistant.
Yes.
Fitzgibbon.
Yep.
Since then, he's had a few blokes helping who aren't necessarily as hands-on as what Fitzy may have been. Last night, Ivan's in the box. They're a completely different football team. So if Freddy was to go to them and say, look, I want to do it again, Ivan's going to be my right-hand man, I'd say you will struggle to get a better coaching combination than that. Yeah. So go with it again. Because
I think it's up to Freddy to put Freddy's a proposal together.
Yes.
And say, this is my staff. This is the way we're moving forward. This is the way we're going to avoid selections like leaving Martin and Campbell Gillard out and Cam Murray not starting. And
well, if Ivan's the assistant, it might be all the Penrith team anyway.
Cody Walker, I don't care if we're picking him when he's 39. He's got to start next year.
Two things. Well, one thing is we can't speculate on who's going to be in the side next year.
No, that's crazy.
Well, I want Cody Walker in the side.
Oh, mate,
I know you're hosting, but please don't try and muzzle me.
Well, if you're going to say ridiculous things, Buzz, you need to be muzzled because the next Origin game's 11 months away.
The Tab have put a market up for it.
Good luck to them. They haven't put a market who's going to be the New South Wales 5'8", I'm
What's
assuming.
What's your thoughts on Ivan as Brad's assistant? Keeping Brad with Ivan as assistant.
I've got no issue with it. I do wonder how much influence he would have had last night.
Brad said he was asking him questions during the game. He was sitting behind him in the coach's box.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you think he was there just to observe and take notes from Brad Fittler? Ivan Cleary taking notes now. Brad Fittler coaches. That'll do me.
Just changing the topic. We got a weakness on this podcast because when you host, you're not the chief comments man.
Well, Breedy's
so
you're
more concerned about what you're thinking.
So give us an opinion. Have an opinion, Mick. Don't sit on the fence.
You've lost you've lost your podcast.
Well, I've said to Buzz, picking a New South Wales side for next year is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but what about the Brad Ivan Cleary combination? What do you think?
I'm fine. I actually don't have an issue if Brad Fittler's the New South Wales coach next year.
Okay.
On a strict 1-year deal, you win. We look at it again. If you lose,
listen, I'm going to go to the bathroom. If you're not going to let me comment.
We've only been on air. I know you're getting old, but we've only been on air for 10 minutes. Surely you can hold on.
But I can't believe you won't let me comment on the future direction of this New South Wales.
Okay, all right.
I'll ask you a question. After Bradman Best's performance last night, right? Next year, do you pick him if Turbo and Latrell are both healthy?
No.
Okay.
No way in the world.
What do you mean?
Are you serious?
Can we stop? We're not picking our New South Wales.
Let's do this because that's a ridiculous assertion.
If Tommy's leading the Daily M and Latrell's in career best form, I'm picking them both.
So you're going to sack someone else.
If Bradman Best is leading the Daily M and the top try scorer or whatever, I'm picking him. I don't know what's going to happen next year.
It's your job. It's a Daily M, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's your job to know. It's your job to have vision and look forward.
You cannot. Are you saying you pick Bradman Best ahead of Latrell and Tommy? You're out of your mind.
I didn't say pick them ahead of Latrell and Tommy.
You just did.
You did.
Well, how do you know Teddy's going to be available? Maybe,
so now you're doing what ifs.
No, I'm not.
Of course, that's the way that you can't.
What I'm saying, the way Teddy played this year.
And snubbing Dylan Edwards then.
Well, I would.
Okay.
No.
I'm stopping this conversation because it is absurd to even speculate
Bring back Mobsy. Go on, what's your next item?
Speaking of speculation,
what have you got?
The next item is all speculation.
Well, at least the Kangaroos may play at some stage this year. We're not forecasting into what the New South Wales side may be next year, but if you're picking an Australian side now for...
So only going 3 months ahead rather than...
Well, at least it's current.
11 months.
There's some currency on the Kangaroos off the back of last night's Origin. Who's your Australian fullback? That's probably one of the most contentious positions. Who plays fullback?
It's not contentious at all. The bloke.
Well, dropping the Australian captain.
James Tedesco's the Australian captain.
So is he staying?
He walks into the job.
Okay.
Walks into the job.
I don't know if he walks.
Who do you put in there? Reece Walsh?
Well, you reframe your... Do you want the side picked on form or reputation?
Pick it any way you want to pick it, Buzz. It's
realistic team.
Well,
it's
on
your
form,
team.
It should be Reece Walsh.
Who do they pick?
Who would Mal pick?
Yeah.
Mal would pick, I presume, Tedesco.
Yeah. He should.
I agree with both those points.
Yeah.
I agree with both.
But if it was on form, it should be Reece Walsh.
Teddy was pretty good last night.
He was good. He was good, and that helps when you finally get a bit of space.
Can
and
I
the
put
forwards
last
are
night's
rolling
form
forward.
into perspective, though? Queensland didn't turn up with the hunger from the first 2 games.
You were just wrapping Cody Walker and Bradman best, saying
Yeah, I
they should
know.
be picked next year.
Yeah.
And now you're
But
couching
Queensland-
that by
no.
saying Queensland didn't show up with the same hunger.
Have we ever had a walk-off on this show?
Yes, you've done it before.
Only take an important phone call, not because I'm working with a twit.
I'm assuming
Is it
that's
ever
you,
going
Brent.
you?
I'm assuming that's
maybe
you.
it's both of us.
I'm
Just general
assuming that's
comment.
you. What about halfback? Because for mine, there's no doubt that Daly Cherry Evans
Yeah.
consistently has outplayed Nathan Cleary at origin level.
Absolutely. Cherry Evans for mine.
I'd go Cherry Evans as well. I mean, I thought Cherry potentially should have been the halfback on the Kangaroo tour last year. I didn't think it was decisive over there, and I don't think Nathan has done enough in a green and gold jersey to demand selection, unlike James Tedesco.
What hurts Cherry Evans, and it could hurt Tedesco this year, is if Manly and the Roosters don't play finals football and you get to... Well, that's part of the reason why...
I don't think it hurts James Tedesco.
Well, that's
He's
what
his
hurts.
Australian captain.
But that's what hurts. I'm saying that's what's hurt.
They have
Daly
train
Cherry
on
Evans.
squads,
Daly.
mate. For years and years, we've had train on squads.
Yeah.
But if...
You've heard about them, Mick?
Yes, back in the day, they picked 50 blokes. Everyone got a T-shirt to be in a train-on squad. But, you know, if hypothetically the Roosters don't make the finals and Brisbane go on and win the comp, there will be more...
Please.
But I'm saying that's...
Are you serious?
But that's what I'm saying around the
He's the
reason...
Australian
Part
captain, Michael.
of the reason Nathan Cleary has the jump on
Okay, that's
Daly
different.
Cherry...
That's different.
You know what Mick's
That's
got,
different.
You know what Mick wants to do?
What?
If we lose the second test at Old Trafford,
Yeah.
he'd sack Pat Cummins by the sound of it. Hey?
Steve Smith should be captain.
I should be-
Oh, wow.
Mate, stick to rugby league at least.
Oh,
you know
hello,
it.
Ryan Harris. Hello.
Sorry, apologise, Mick. You're doing a bloody good job over there. Geez, I'm impressed with you today.
Out of that New South Wales side that played last night, and keeping in mind Latrell's injured, Nathan Cleary's injured,
I asked you before about this.
Tom
You said
Trbojevic
anyone.
is
You
injured.
didn't say limit it to the players who played last night.
who would you? Well,
just changed.
no, and I said as well as those
Okay.
guys who.
I'd
Who are
nearly pick the
walk-up
Blues
starts?
wingers, mate. Because I don't think the Queensland wingers... Oh, actually, I'd bring Selwyn Cobbo into the Australian side.
He leaves Sogger, all those blokes.
Well, no, I on what I saw last night, and they haven't been outplayed all year to a huge... I'd pick Adokar and Toto as the Kangaroo wingers.
To'o had a really good series. Adokar had a really good game
Toto
3.
plays for Samoa.
I know he
wouldn't-
obviously
I
definitely
wouldn't
plays for
pick him.
Samoa. And
Yeah.
you know who I thought was...
Sorry, I thought we were talking a merit type team.
You know who I thought was outstanding as well, and I know he plays for Samoa as well, is Stephen Crichton. He had a really good game 1
Unreal.
and outstanding game.
He wasn't behind.
Last night.
He wasn't a long way behind Walker last night, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Isn't he an
agreed.
athlete? Isn't he physical?
Agreed.
Fast,
Agreed.
he's a great player.
Cody Walker, there's obviously Cam Munster's a 6 for
Yeah.
Kangaroos.
Of course. Goes without saying.
Well, Munster was quiet last night, wasn't he?
He was quiet.
He was quiet. He tried hard,
Who
though, I
was-
thought.
A lot of Queenslanders were quiet last night. Cherry Evans was...
Well, they weren't
Off.
playing for anything, Mick, really.
Harry Grant.
Well,
Harry Grant hasn't had a great Origin series.
Why
No.
did they change him? Why did they start him? It worked so well the other way, you know?
Yeah.
they probably wanted to give him a go. The series
Yeah,
was
but
over. Give him a starting position.
The other way was proven.
I understand that, but the series was over. They'd already won it. No skin off their nose. I mean, Ruben Cotter's got to be there. Has to be after his series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
Outstanding. Any issues with him winning the Wally Lewis medal?
No,
Not for
I
mine.
think that's fair enough.
Funny series. He wouldn't have won it by 10 lengths.
No.
You know, there was a lot of players who were very, very good without a absolute standout. in
I'll
my
tell
view.
you who my other winger would be. Adokar and Tina Hammer. That's who I put in the wing.
Yeah.
Adokar and
So who are you saying?
Hammer was outstanding. Well, Latrell and
Val.
Val. Latrell and Val. Rhymes.
Trell's got to come back yet.
He'll be back.
Just on the match last night, I was at home watching the broadcast. Reedy, you were at the game.
Yes.
The RLPA's
Fast.
mandated blackout of the NRL showpiece. For mine, watching the coverage, and this is not Channel 9's fault at all, but it definitely lacked the presence of the current day stars. Channel 9 had to fill a lot of time with former players. They crossed to Jonathan Thurston twice before the game. Paul Gallen was walking alongside the New South Wales side as they made their team walk from the hotel into the ground. And, you know, this is a Blues captain, can't talk to the current Blues.
Well, Mick, after the game, after the press conferences were over, Not a single member of the New South Wales coaching staff spoke to the media. So
Yeah.
we couldn't even get them after the game.
And they're not bound by this ridiculous
They wouldn't come,
mandate
they wouldn't
from
come out of the
Whoever
ground.
did the
now.
media ban, strike, whatever you want to call it, it's the biggest dope in rugby league history. It hurts the players just as much that they're not talking to get their side of the story out. But, I repeat, both sides are equally as fault.
Yeah.
And when you get an email from the NRL saying, no more negotiations, take it or leave it, they have to do something to get them back to the table.
But
The
Buzz-
media ban was not the right
Buzz,
thing
they
to
put
do.
a settlement off to the NRL in the first place.
Yeah, you.
The NRL just responded to it.
But called off all negotiations.
Well, that's what's the settlement offer?
I'm
Take
not-
our settlement
mate, it's
offer.
boring. It's boring. No one cares about this.
Well, why are you
dispute.
firing up about
It
it?
is boring, but for mine,
I'm firing up about this. You know, mate, there's faults at both sides. Andrew Abdo, where's the 28 million he suddenly found when the players sent him forensic account?
I don't disagree that there's
That's what I'm
fault on both
saying.
sides.
We shouldn't be. We should. Mate, don't
Don't
put me
disagree.
to sleep, mate. I'm tired enough.
is anyone with me that the players
You look
should,
a lot fitter than last week. I was worried about you too.
Where?
When
Oh,
you
there
had,
was a-
you
there
had
was a
your
few
episode.
Oh, my episode, yeah. It's a shame the video wasn't going last week. That would have got a run on
Mate,
Twitter,
I would
wouldn't
have
it?
every neurosurgeon in
Yeah.
Sydney.
No, I've
Starting
had a checkup since. I'm red hot and ready to go.
Does anyone else agree with me that the players shouldn't cop their 30 grand?
No, rubbish.
Do you think they should?
Rubbish. They're the entertainers, mate.
No, they should cop
25.
25.
No.
They don't so if you don't, Buzz, if you're at work today and you don't fulfill all your obligations, what happens to you?
Well, don't toast me. I knocked off last night at midnight and I was here at 8. Insufficient break, so don't start. Hey?
So you're
Come on,
quite comfortable with, if you're Channel 9, are you happy with the product they produced last night after
If
spending...
Taylor Swift's out here and doesn't want to do media, you going to dock her?
Taylor
She
Swift
doesn't get paid to do.
What?
Doesn't get
Taylor
paid to do
Swift's her
media.
own,
She
her own
gets paid to
brand.
sing.
No, they're PR. Look.
No, that's a
Mick,
terrible
these-
argument.
No, it's not. These guys are the
very
entertainment. You don't get anyone at the game if the players aren't there. Do you really think that
Okay,
crowd was
okay.
going to be bigger last night if they'd
But
spoken?
it's not about the crowd.
That's not what
it's
I'm
about
saying.
the broadcast.
And I'm not saying they get $0, but the $30,000 paycheck comes out of what the broadcasters' commitment, and part of that commitment is getting bang for their buck. Do you think Channel 9 got bang for their buck last night? Yes or no?
No.
Correct.
But
So
whose
why?
fault's that? The players, or is it Andrew Abdo's for not being able to do a deal for 2 years?
You just said
It's both of
You
them.
just said the media blackout was the dumbest. The person
was
to come
the
up with that
dumbest.
decision.
So what are the
That's an
repercussions?
RLPA. That's
What-
a union decision.
Yeah, but
that's the RLPA's
I don't want to dock the
decision.
players for that. Because
I'm not arguing the fact that it's a bumbling mess that we've got here at all. It's a disgrace from both sides. Okay, this
Yeah.
is a separate
We're talking
argument.
about talking about the RLPA again, the strike. Okay.
yeah, I know.
Because you're going to
no.
put Buzz to sleep, mate.
No, I'm talking about their decision
It's his podcast.
to boycott the people that pay them, which is the broadcasters. And the fact, are you comfortable with the fact that players can broadcast media, can boycott media, but if they've got a contract with Triple M, ABC, Fox, they can still earn their money on the side on the same day where they're not allowed to speak if they're playing a game?
I'm happy to, but they should donate it to their union. They
They should donate to the charity. I'd have more respect for the players and their stance.
But didn't we just say this was boring? Mate, we're back to club footy now. Origin's done, dusted. Maroons are champions.
I can't believe that.
I know you're. I
Mick's
know
very
you're-
fired up about this. He's very
Yeah.
fired
Just
I
up.
that
know. I
point.
heard him on SEN driving in today.
just that point.
Just
I-
bagging
I-
blokes. He's just bagging blokes left for right.
Can't wait till you stick your ABC microphone out in front of a footballer
No, I've got no issue
over
with
the
the
next
players.
couple of weeks.
No issue with the players.
And one of the players says to you, "You give it to me on your little podcast
No.
with Buzz and Reedy."
Little
I
podcast.
am not going to talk to you, Michael.
And that's their prerogative.
Can't wait for
That
your
is, that
knockback.
is their prerogative. But the RLPA put a press release out a couple of days ago, and their fourth or fifth word to the players: brave actions. Brave. Tell me what they've sacrificed, Buzz.
Wake me up, will you, when you're done? What's your next topic, Vic?
You're my next topic, Buzz.
Can I say, I'm going to interrupt here.
This will be
I
good.
spoke to Michael yesterday.
Michael
and-
Carayannis,
And
this guy.
Yeah, Michael
I rang
Carayannis.
Buzz with a tip.
Yeah, he did. He
Oh.
rang me a little news tip, which was good.
Good. What was it?
tip.
It was in the
No,
paper?
no, we can't tell. It's still.
Oh.
But I said, where are you? And he said, I'm at Coles at
I was
Rockdale?
at Woolies at Mortdale. It's close. Come on.
Woolies at
Accuracy,
Mortdale.
Buzz.
And at the very same time, I was working the aisles at Woolworths Carrington.
Wow. What a coincidence. It's a great story. Riveting. Can we go back to the RLPA?
When I got to the washing powders section, I
I
started.
need more coffee.
No, I started blowing up to Mick that nothing was on special.
Yep.
But Mick,
Because you're such a
send me
battler.
the most beautiful photo
Yep.
of his gorgeous daughter, Elena,
Helena.
Elena.
in the trolley,
In the trolley.
trying to open a packet of strawberries.
Is that
holding
safe?
us
Is that
all.
safe?
All I
Yeah,
can
she'll
say
secure.
about
Strapped in.
Elena has thrown to mum.
Yeah.
She
Well,
is the
clearly.
most beautiful little girl.
She's a little
Yeah.
kid.
How old, Mick?
11 months, Buzzy.
11 months. Wow.
Mm.
She walking?
Yeah. Oh, no, she's up and stepping and stuff. But she's getting
Stepping like Callum Ponga.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Stella?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
You
right.
like that story?
Mate, it was
You
riveting.
know, I've been sitting
riveting.
back at all this boring stuff, and I just said, Buzz,
Washing powder.
I've just,
this podcast needs to lighten up.
mate, so inspired by that story. I think I'm going to nominate him for Father of the Year.
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was during my lunch break too, so no one blow up.
Do you agree we needed to lighten up?
You're right. Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. Well done, Buzz. Can you take over hosting?
Buzz, you were
It's
Righto.
your podcast, apparently.
you broke this story, well, a couple of stories regarding Canterbury a couple of days ago. Which one do you want to touch on first, Tino or the Justin Holbrook meeting? Should we get Tino? Let's get Tino out of the way. Obviously, bit of back and forth. You had your say
Yeah.
on 360.
Tuesday night. Look, Mick, I don't think there's a lot more to say. You know, I spoke to Arthur Laundy over the weekend. He told me of his plan to offer pub shares and, guaranteed returns. Gus blew up about it on Monday night. Basically, was a fabric. It was a misrepresentation of the facts. I replied, it's all done. They're still in the market for Tino because, they met Holbrook yesterday.
Yeah.
Why would they meet Holbrook? I think they want him on the coaching staff. Who are their assistants now? Mick Potter and
Chad Randall.
Chad. I don't know how they feel about this, and they're obviously Holbrook's a magnet for players. He's shown that because they've got Fafita and Tino have got those clauses.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of activity out there, hasn't there? The photo we all got to of
Blake Taff.
Blake Taff, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
What do
bit
you
going on.
guys think of all this? They're very active, aren't they, the doggies?
Well, they've got to be because they're hopeless.
Mm.
They've got to be active. So they've got to get better, and they want to get better quickly because
But aren't
Gus
they
needs to
building
help
from
Sorrello
within?
out. Well, a bit of both. You need to do both.
You need
Buzz.
to recruit. I'm not anti clubs recruiting, Buzz.
And-
Who's
and-
the centre three-quarter who's gone to the Dolphins?
Avarello.
Jake Avarillo.
Is he a local junior?
Yep.
Yep.
And Paul Alamotti. They haven't re-signed Alamotti yet. Young
Another
kid,
local junior?
local junior. Yeah,
Aren't
but
they
Buzz, you
building
got to.
from within, Michael?
Yeah.
They're bringing in Bronson Cherry from outside.
Yeah, but he's going to pay him nothing.
Their
But
young
compared
teams
to
are
what?
in. Their young sides are in good nick. They've had a good year.
I just find it
in the
odd.
pathways.
The best local juniors are...
But Buzz, you're talking about Tino, like as if you wouldn't go to market and chase Tino. He's just about the
And the
best.
blokes that
Did
like.
I mention Tino? I'm talking about two local junior centres.
No, but you're saying.
Well, Stephen Crichton.
built
Then,
from within.
I know he'll probably play fullback
Yeah, where's
for
he
them,
from?
but
Where's Kick out from?
What do you want them to do? Just tread
Where's
water
Reed
until
Marnie?
the juniors come through.
No, but I just don't like being told crap that they're building from within when they're not.
Yeah, but
They're letting their two best juniors go.
that is an issue. It is an issue. The fact that they've struggled to produce juniors. They've got Kiraz at the moment,
They're
who's
building...
Kiraz is a very good player.
who's going to be
Where
the
did
face
he
of that
go?
club.
Via Cowboys and Newcastle.
Yeah, and they brought him back. So, and that's a different administration by the time that let him go, Buzz. But he will be the face of the club. But I know Cameron Serrato in particular was disappointed to lose Jake Avarello, but I don't think they thought that he was worth what the Dolphins were willing to pay him.
Yeah. And Alamotti's been a bit... Look, he hasn't been convincing. And he's on huge money because he signed a big deal a few years ago as a teenager.
What local juniors do they have then?
I haven't been through their roster, Buzz. I couldn't tell you. They've got Kurt Morin still there, isn't he?
Yeah, Curtis Moran.
They've got some young guys who are still
Obviously,
there.
Kiraz is there,
Kiraz, yeah.
but we'd have to go sit through and.
They've got
and
some,
look at-
but I think their Flegger SG Ball won the grand final this year. Am I right in saying? I think so. They've got some good kids coming through, Buzz. It's going to take time, and in the meantime, they need to reinforce.
How long? 5 years?
5 years,
That'd be a
apparently.
plan.
Isn't that the plan?
Yeah.
5 years. What are we in? Year 3? Year 2? Yeah, and if Tino comes to the market, you chase Tino.
Yeah, I've got no issue with them chasing top-line players.
Yeah, you've got to. And if Kickout comes to the market, you chase Kickout. Crichton comes to the market, you chase Crichton. They're world-class footballers. Hold on. This is outrageous.
Big one. So, Reddy, Justin Holbrook is obviously a guy that's in demand a little bit. The Bulldogs aren't the only Sydney club that are looking to add him into the coaching mix, but you see him slotting into an assistant's role next year somewhere?
Yeah, I think so. He's a really high-quality assistant coach, Justin Holbrook. Had some mixed success on the Gold Coast, but he's a smart guy, had a lot of success in England, and I think he would make any coaching staff in any club better. So I think he'd be a great signing for the Dogs or whatever other
he's a head coach, isn't he? Do you reckon he's a head coach?
Well, not anymore. He just got sacked.
Well, there's not a lot of... What jobs do you think could open between now and next year, Buzz? So maybe you need
Well, I'd say Newcastle, but their last start 66-0 win, and Ponga's incredible support for Adam O'Brien. I think he's shored up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Ads. And
Tigers?
Probably
What do
deservedly
you think about
so.
the Tigers situation?
Well, you guys are writing the heavy stuff about Benji. That was very heavy, your piece last Sunday on Benji.
Wasn't heavy.
Wasn't it?
No, I didn't think it was heavy.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
To let people know what you wrote, Reading, in case they missed it.
Oh, we just did a piece on Benji and talking to some people about whether why he was the right man to take them forward.
So, do you think it was a positive Benji story?
I thought it was positive.
Oh,
You said it was negative. Well, Tim was quite positive in it about Benji.
Yeah, well, Tim had to be.
Did you think it was negative, did you?
I thought so, yeah. You cast a bit of doubt in my mind about
Well, there is
Benji.
doubt,
Well,
Buzz.
there's gotta be doubt.
There's obviously
Yeah.
doubt because this is his first full-time coaching role at any level this year.
I think if the West Tigers had their time again and knew that someone like Holbrook was going to be available now, would they have done the long-term Sheens, Benji?
Potentially, because they would have known at some point that the coaching landscape would have changed between now and in 3 or 2 years after Sheens had fulfilled his role too. So I think they just thought it was going to be a successful combination and set the club up for long-term success. I know the Tigers have been linked potentially with Justin Holbrook as well to come in and give support to Benji Marshall, where that places Tim Sheens next year. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking around now, there's not a lot of sort of coaching instability or options immediate at the moment. You go around the clubs, everyone looks pretty secure.
Because we've gone through obviously the Dragons and the
Warriors
Titans.
are always shaky, but Webster's going to be coach of the year.
Yeah. So
the Titans, Desi's about to start. Kevy's on fire.
yeah.
North Queensland going.
Yeah.
There's
The
a little.
Knights are the obvious one. The Knights and...
But I'm saying, you just won 66-0.
yeah, but it was against... Who was it against again?
Dogs.
Dogs. It was against the Dogs. Doesn't really count.
Oh, it does. Bradman best. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Don't
careful.
hey, listen.
Be careful.
You're talking to Ads' PR man over there.
Just
You
on
love him, don't you?
KP was good in that game too. Outstanding.
Just on the Dogs, you've got a pretty decent item for our Sport Confidential, which will be online now and in Friday's paper regarding Payne Haas. Ready?
Yeah, I spoke to his agent yesterday, and he said basically, he said we're going to November 1. We're going to test the market, see what's out there for Payne Haas. So that's a concern for Brisbane, I'd say, because I would imagine Payne Haas will be inundated with offers from rival clubs. It's interesting that's come out in the week they're playing the Bulldogs as well, because the Bulldogs have been one of those clubs that's been really heavily linked with Payne Haas. So, it's big news for Brisbane, and we'll see how it plays out. But he'll get offers from 16
Last
clubs.
time, I spoke to his manager, and it was really interesting that he said Payne wouldn't necessarily go to the highest bidder. And he even said that he sort of understands that if you have a Ponga in your club, or a 1.4, 1.5, it actually takes away from the depth of your squad. And his aim is to win a title.
You've got to respect that.
And it's interesting, he is going to market, as he's told
big
you.
story.
In that the Broncos are seem to be in a window, you know.
Yeah. I got the feeling that if the Broncos
Come to the
win the
party.
comp this year,
Hmm.
he'll go.
Do you?
I don't know where. He might go to rugby, and the rugby stuff's still doing the rounds. But I got the sense that if he wins a comp,
You know he could play for the All Blacks?
really,
Yep. Parents, one of his parents, I think his mum's Kiwi.
okay. Would he want to do that? Do we know?
I actually checked it out with the All Blacks.
What'd they say?
No, not interested.
Not interested.
But I'm just saying he's got the
How good are they
bloodlines
going?
to play for the All Blacks.
He's a smart guy, Payne. I spoke to someone about him yesterday in the process, sort of ringing around about the story, and someone who used to be at the Broncos, and they said you don't, people don't really understand how intelligent he is. He's actually a really smart guy, and really driven by challenges, and a bit like a bit like Sonny, right? A bit like Sonny was back in the day.
Well,
you
he's
know?
very tight with Sonny.
Yeah.
Now. I think his relationship with Sonny has improved him significantly as a person.
Yeah.
All right.
that's
Listener
a fair
questions,
call.
boys.
Oh.
Case wants to know, is State of Origin worth it anymore? The quality of football is not what it has been. Eligibility rules are as clouded as ever. The NRL draw has issues with fairness where it's not a home and away series. Now it comes down to which teams play who in State of Origin. Just scrap it.
Oh my God.
Thoughts?
Insanity. It's ridiculous. It's one of the crown jewels of our game.
Yeah, showpiece. 3 million people watch it all the time, but we've got to do something to protect the integrity of the premiership around it. And Andrew Abdo needs to sit down with key stakeholders, condense it to 3 straight Wednesday nights, keep the comp going. Even on those 3 Wednesdays. Tell you why, Michael, because we're used to playing under strength for 8 weeks. Let's bring it back to 3.
I think Reedy, what was your plan? Where you could do it all in 2 weeks, basically, or miss one.
Missed one game. I think
One
mine
club
was the other
game.
Bye before the. No, I can't remember.
So riveting
It's good
stuff. All right.
plan. You've forgotten
Yeah.
about it in 24
No,
hours.
I think you have a bye. So you miss the first game, then you go play
Anyway,
Wednesday. So you missed 2 games. I can't remember. It was a good idea anyway.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Luke wants to know, what players are you excited about in the under-19s match, which is on Thursday night?
I'll throw a couple at you.
Just one.
Both fullbacks.
Yep.
Matua Brown just killed it at the Australian Schoolboys, and Chevy Stewart was a star last year at the Aussie Schoolboys, and Latu Fanu's playing for the young kid who's at Manly at the moment, but talks with a heap of clubs. Latu Fanu, a lot of raps on him. So, and the Queensland hooker goes good too, Blake Moser. Latu Fanu, Buzz. He's the kid they want a piece of at the moment. He's a gun. West Tigers want him. Yep.
And
the Dolphins want him. Yep.
What about his potential halves partner for New South Wales, Ethan Sanders?
Oh,
Get a
your boy.
chance to look at him.
Yeah.
Canberra gone in big time.
What's happened with him? Is he re-signed? What's the latest with him?
He's contracted for next season.
He's been pursued by a few clubs, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
We did
Canberra's
something on that in the column, didn't we?
a few times.
When's
your
this
best
game
work.
on, guys?
Tonight.
Yeah, nice.
You got anyone, Buzz?
Oh, look, mate, there's talent everywhere here. Damon Marshall, the lock forward's a good player. Blake Moser, the hooker, as you said. Did you give him a rap?
Yeah, he's a good player, yeah.
Is contract with the Broncos?
Long term, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's in the top 30, if
Yeah,
not
so,
now, next year.
It's good. Good
Yeah.
content
I
tonight.
might watch that. game.
What are we
You know,
doing
watch
next,
it.
Mick?
Ben
How
wants to
long have we
know-
got to go, by the
Two
way?
more questions. Ben wants to know, with the Warriors
Sport.
signings of RTS and Chanel Harris-Tavita for next year, are they locks for a top 8 spot in 24? I'm not sure if Chanel plays.
Really?
Well, who do you push out for Chanel Harris-Tavita?
Who are their centres at the moment? Remind me.
One will be Roger.
Was Roger going to play centres?
Yeah.
They
Okay.
look to me like a club that will not only make the 8 this year, but heading for sustained long-term success. So I'll say they will make the 8 next year.
Yeah, I think so.
Did
yeah.
any of us have them
Actually, I don't think Chanel will play either. You're right.
well, he's not going to play in the halves if they
Yeah.
re-sign Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
So he's just another depth
Yeah.
player for them.
Not bad depth, though.
No, good. Real
Well,
good
they're
depth.
definitely going to re-sign Sean. What's the go there?
I think they want
Any
to, but
updates?
I think he's going to do another year.
Yeah.
I think he will. But they just try and find that roster spot as
Yeah.
well, because there's not a lot. They got a lot of halves contracted
What's
next
Luke
year.
Metcalf doing over there? Hasn't he?
Going
Been
good.
Oh, he's a good player, yeah.
Yeah, he's going real good.
Sharks
You'd want
boy?
him locked in.
Yeah.
The Sharks tell me he wanted a guaranteed first grade spot.
No, that's impossible.
And when Moylan around, and look, I think and it's easy to say this in hindsight, seeing his form for the Warriors, that they would probably have been better off keeping Metcalf for Moylan.
Yeah.
But these things are very hard to, to
Juggle.
Yeah.
What about
Go on.
Raymond wants to know what would it take to get a proper trade window in place? Obviously, this is CBA talk, Readman.
Oh, thrilling stuff. Buzz's favourite topic. Look, they have to sit down and get in a room together to start with, obviously, and they're not willing to do that at the moment. And then there's been some proposals put forward about
a tiered one.
A tiered one.
Yeah.
It was
The
my
players
idea,
have-
actually. They stole that off me, Mick. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah.
You've told me plenty of times. But the players have no appetite, right?
No.
So
No.
at the
And they
moment,
want something in return for giving up that right.
in the next CBA, there will not be a trade window. So that's at least.
Well, I reckon they'll end up signing an agreement and they'll put an asterisk and say we'll continue negotiations over a trade window, and they'll try and get something done
within that 5 year.
within the 5 years.
Okay,
I'd imagine.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, just finally, dinner, boys. What are we thinking tonight?
I'm over at Fox. I'm going to have some pizza, I think.
Oh, you're doing your State of Origin wash-up, aren't you?
Yeah. Third shift this week.
Oh, cash
Oh, my
money.
God, what about you?
Oh, no.
You're flying.
Oh,
Mr. Wong's.
no.
What
You should
guys
take
doing?
us to Mr. Wong's.
What are you
No.
guys doing? I've got it sponsored. What are you?
Sponsored. We're having burgers tonight.
Burgers?
Yeah, homemade
That's not very-
burgers.
That's not very Greek.
There'll be no beetroot on them, Buzz.
Really?
Not on my burger.
Where do you get your burgers? Woolies?
Clara makes them. No, she'll make
Really?
them. Yeah. No bun, just a lettuce.
Geez, you're
patty.
batting overs, aren't you? Fair dinkum.
Wow.
Oh, so it's
Well, she's-
it's
you know.
it's
What she cooks?
Yeah.
it's called a nude
Good
burger.
cook, though.
isn't it?
Good cook.
She's goes.
Don't
good,
you have
yeah.
a bun?
No bun.
No bun.
We won't have a bun. We'll
That's
just have
not a burger, is it?
It's
It's a nude burger.
It's a nude burger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are you having?
I haven't given it much thought.
Well, first thing that comes to your mind, read man.
First thing comes to mind,
Let's go.
roast lamb with garlic rosemary. No.
Well, give us a seafood dish, Reedy.
See, my wife's not, she doesn't like seafood. I had seafood last
Did
night.
you
I
eat
had
fish
salmon
last
last night.
What
Salmon and I made crumb whiting for the family. And
This is
some
not. This is not a
calamari.
blow-by-blow description of your eating habits.
You know
just
what?
tonight.
Can I tell you about my wife's seafood thing? She's got a thing about seafood. So she eats crumbed flathead, but she doesn't like fishy fish. She says, I can't eat fishy
Yeah,
fish.
Clara's a little bit like that.
Do you know what that means? What does that mean?
This thing is
I
if it's
love a
potent.
feed of fish.
Do you?
I love a feed of fish.
I had a
Yeah.
beautiful bit of salmon, Buzz.
I
3
grill
minutes
salmon
each
at
side.
home quite regularly. Bit of ginger, bit
In
of
the air
soy
fryer.
sauce. No. Oh, air fryer, please. You grill it. Let me finish my recipe. Soy sauce, ginger, lemon. What's that aniseed sort of herb you put on the top?
Aniseed.
Yeah, it's very much like that. A little bit of that.
I just simply put a bit of chili oil on it, on the skin, because I've got skin on. I crisp up the skin. 3 minutes each side.
I'm going.
And it's
I have
magnificent.
not got time for another one of your recipes. I'm sorry.
Just pretty simple.
See
Chili
you
oil.
later, Mick.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
hosting. Bring
Well
back
done.
See you, Mick.